The story is about a boy who lives in Japan and spends his days playing video games and watching anime without doing any other work. His life is on the verge of ruin. Eventually, he falls very sick and feels close to death. In that moment, he sees a goddess who informs him that he has died, and he realizes the truth. The goddess tells him that he will be allowed to be reincarnated into a magical world, granting him a special chance and magical abilities. After some time, he opens his eyes and finds himself as a newborn baby with a royal mark on his chest. His father, aware of his mother's victory over the Demon King, intends to test the boy's power level, expecting it to be at least 40 or 50. However, the test results indicate a level of only 2. The advisor explains that he can only create a defensive barrier. Disappointed, the father decides that he can't have such a weak son, and they make the decision to abandon him in the forest. In the heaven, the goddess appears before a goddess, displaying concern over Haru's true power, which is actually 1002. The measuring tool used couldn't accurately gauge such a high power, leaving them unable to comprehend just how strong he is. Haru encounters a fox demon who attempts to summon him, but he defeats her using his elemental powers. He introduces himself as Haruto, and the fox, realizing his immense power, believes he is destined to become the Demon King. She reveals her name as Flay and pledges herself as his master. Haruto, feeling weak and in need of nourishment, requests breast milk. Flay transforms into a woman but is unable to produce milk. A soldier arrives and offers her milk. Flay feeds Haruto, and when she asks the soldier why he helped her, he simply states that everyone deserves a chance to live. The soldier takes Haru and Flay to his residence, leaving behind evidence of Haruto's death. 9 years pass and Haruto lives happily with his family. However, Charlotte, his younger sister, has not formed a bond with him. Flay serves as their maid, fulfilling her duties. Charlotte asks Flay to play with her and Haru orders her to do so. At that moment, Haruto's mother arrives and explains that Charlotte dislikes him because he behaves more like an old man than a child. Haruto retreats to his room, contemplating his mother's words and resolving to do something special for his sister. Later, his father calls him to the backyard to teach him swordsmanship, but Haru shows no interest. His father insists that he should learn it due to his low mana level. Haru continues to resist, prompting his father to suggest giving it a try. They engage in a battle, and his father realizes that Haru possesses much more power than he had initially believed. In the evening, his father discusses the practice session with his wife, mentioning that Haru might be a demon. However, his mother denies this and asserts that he is a normal boy. Charlotte overhears their conversation and begins to suspect that her brother might be a demon. One fateful morning, Haru woke up and went about his usual routine, taking a moment to reflect on his father's decision to stop giving him sword lessons due to his busy schedule. Strangely, Haru felt content with this change. However, his peaceful morning was interrupted by the sound of a commotion outside. Utilizing his magical abilities, Haru investigated and discovered a group of injured soldiers. Seeking answers, he approached his father and inquired about the situation. His father, however, chose to keep it a secret, only revealing that there had been a string of attacks by thieves in the province. Despite his father's caution and preparation, they had been ambushed. Consumed by guilt, Haru's father blamed himself and apologized to Haru for exposing him to such a gruesome sight at a young age. He requested that Haru return home. Meanwhile, Flay, known for her sharp tongue, insulted the soldiers for their failure to deal with what she deemed as weak thieves. In response, Haru's aura took on a menacing presence as he commanded Flay to be silent. Utilizing his magic, he healed the injured soldiers, leaving them bewildered by the inexplicable event. Later that night, Haru sensed Flay's presence outside while he slept. Curious, he checked on her and questioned whether she had been standing there the entire time. Flay remained silent, leading Haru to realize that she had been waiting for his permission to speak. Recognizing his previous behavior, Haru apologized to her, and together they ventured outside to search for the assailants who had attacked his father and his men. Utilizing his magic, Haru surveyed the surroundings until he suddenly detected a group of individuals congregating in the dead of night. Haru identified them as thieves, though some appeared to be ordinary soldiers. Curiously, the group vanished into the night, utilizing their own magical abilities. Undeterred, Haru and Flay ventured into the room where the bandits had been celebrating their victory. The bandits attempted to engage them in combat, but Haru employed his magic to create a barrier, freezing them in place. One bandit remained skeptical of the barrier's power, prompting Haru to exert his dominance by using his magic to pin him against the wall. Haru informed the bandits that cooperation would spare them from severe consequences, while lies would result in dire repercussions. Through their interrogation, Haru discovered that some of the bandits were soldiers from a neighboring empire who had disguised themselves as thieves to sow chaos within the kingdom. Flay found it difficult to believe, as troops guarded the borders, but one bandit revealed that they had received assistance from an individual of higher status than Haru's father. Grateful for their cooperation, Haru expressed his appreciation before instructing Flay to set the entire fort ablaze. The bandits could not be allowed to go unpunished for their actions. Flay, utilizing her own magic, ignited the fort, reducing it to ashes. As they walked away from the smoldering remains, Haru confided in Flay, acknowledging his limited knowledge of Imperial soldiers and internation conflicts. However, he vowed not to show any mercy to those who initiated the confrontation. Haru also mentioned his plan to send an anonymous letter to his father, explaining the events of the day. The following morning, Haru received a letter confirming the eradication of the thieves in the fort. Although his father was unaware of the situation, he expressed a desire to investigate further, suspecting that the thieves were more than just ordinary criminals. Charlotte, having observed Haru's strength and the outcome of the events, approached him to inquire who had dealt with the criminals. Her father speculated that Flay, being stronger than Haru, might have been responsible. However, Charlotte, having sensed something amiss, discreetly approached Flay to discuss Haru. She had witnessed what appeared to be Flay and Haru flying through the night, but knew Haru did not possess the power of flight. Charlotte searched Haru's room but failed to detect his menacing aura, leading Flay to realize that Charlotte possessed the ability to sense Haru's true power. Flay proceeded to explain to Charlotte just how powerful Haru truly was. Subsequently, Flay shared the earlier events with Haru, expressing her desire to assist him. Haru, however, simply instructed her to disregard it. Since that day, Charlotte had been shadowing Haru, observing his every move. For 6 consecutive days, she trailed him until the moment arrived. Haru discovered that Charlotte and her mother were embarking on a trip as part of an annual festival. On that particular day, while lying in his bed, Haru abruptly awakened, realizing the gravity of the situation. Bandits had attacked Charlotte and her mother, inflicting wounds upon the latter. Desperate to escape, Charlotte's mother attempted to flee, only to face continuous assaults. In a surprising turn of events, Charlotte directed her mother to jump off a cliff, seemingly receiving guidance from an unseen source, an action that baffled Haru. Upon reaching the cliff, Charlotte urged her mother to take the leap, initially met with fear. However, her mother summoned her mana and bravely jumped. Reassuring her mother that they were nearly there, they discovered a hidden cave. As her mother left the cave to seek assistance, Charlotte realized that the entrance had been concealed by illusion magic. Imperial guards discovered her mother, and in a last-ditch effort to fend them off, she attempted to take her own life. Yet, just in the nick of time, Haru arrived, utilizing a spell to render her unconscious. He swiftly incapacitated the Imperial guards and carried Charlotte's wounded mother into the safety of the cave. Haru assured Charlotte that her mother was out of harm's way. Overwhelmed by Haru's actions, Charlotte sensed his aura and hailed him as a hero of justice, referring to him by name. In response, Haru urged her to keep their encounter a secret. Subsequently, Haru's father received news that both Charlotte and her mother had managed to escape and that Flay had joined them. All parties returned home safely, though mysteries still loomed in the air. If you guys liked the video, then kindly subscribe the channel and enable the bell icon, because we are going to upload the next part very soon.